Hello friends, I hope you are well. TechManPat here. Today we're reviewing this, the Daxys Bandicoot electric scooter, a massive scooter with so many sharp bits and bobs. Huge thanks to PanMe for sending me this scooter for review. They're not actually the brand behind it, they are the website who resell this stuff, so check it out. They have a whole bunch of other electric scooters. Today we're looking at the Bandicoot. And I love the name, I love this scooter. So you should like this video. I know, whatever. Subscribe if you do want to see more content like this, and like this video if you liked it. Let's get started by rolling the intro. Alright, we probably need to start with the specification. I've tried to capture the sheer size of it, but it's pretty darn massive. The beauty of it, it is for riders with up to 120 kilograms in weight. That fits me, which is awesome. I see a lot of scooters out there that say 100. This one is definitely for the larger folk out there. It is limited to 25 kilometers in Australia. I think there must be a way to speed this up, because every time I had my finger on the throttle, it felt like he was just getting started. It really wanted to go for it. However, that means you can hit up to 25-degree slopes, which is incredible. This flies up hills like nobody's business, and it really didn't matter on my weight. On paper, it touts about 50 to 55 kilometers of range. I got about 42 at most, 45 sometimes. It just felt like right near the end, it was really losing battery. And there's also something really strange about the battery indicator. It goes up and then down and then up again. You can't really rely on it too much unless it starts getting to that 1 bar and doesn't change. The reason for that, it has electric brakes. We'll get to that in a second because I think it's a really awesome feature. This motor right here can put up to 1000 watts, but the nominal performance is about 500 watts. Hence, when I really push that throttle, it flies incredibly hard. Now, the comfortability of the ride is really helped by the dual suspension at the back and the single suspension at the front. It is a very unique design. It looks like more of a velociraptor foot, you know, it's kind of sort of bent backwards. And you know what? I think it really does it well with this scooter. Not only does it fit the look, but it does mean that the front is really nice and bouncy. When it does hit a bump on the road, it doesn't just go whoop back into the front post of it. It feels like it first takes the big brunt of it and it translates through this arc into the handlebars, and it's not as harsh as other suspensions I've tried in the past. The back suspensions, even though you can't modify the softness or the hardness of it, they're fine. The design is something you either like or don't like. I really like it. It feels industrial. It feels fast, even though it's limited to 25 kilometers. Now, obviously, state by state, they might differ, so make sure to check the laws in your state before you purchase any scooter. The weight of this scooter is quite a lot. It's nearly 25 kilograms. It is very unwieldy to take onto public transport, except just walking around with it. It is very tall, very high off the ground, which makes it a great off-roader. We'll talk about that in a moment. Getting it upstairs is just a pain. So I had to take elevators on public transport in Perth whenever I would travel a little bit further than 20 kilometers. I took this to work and back, which is about 22 kilometers. I took it both on the train, and then I just took the whole 20 kilometers by itself. Now, the main thing I would say is that it is a very comfortable ride. The thing that's going to tire you out is just standing in one spot on this, because it's limited to 25 kilometers. I cycle faster than it. Now, packing it down seems like it should be easy. There's a little hook here, and you can fold back the handlebars into here, except the design of the hook has no locking mechanism, so as soon as you touch it or it looses, it'll just fall off, and I really didn't like that, so I never folded it. I just think there is a better way to have this hook onto that so you can hold it around. Now, the biggest selling point of this scooter, I think, is the on-road capabilities. What does that actually mean? Well, it has full-on indicators. You can indicate left, there is a light on the side here, and a light on the end of the handlebars where your wrist is. on both sides, obviously left and right. It has a brake light that is both on during the ride, but then when you push the brakes, any of them, it'll turn on brighter, and it has a light out the front, making you extremely visible at night and on the road. Now, I wouldn't particularly say you should drive this on the road, that's definitely not what I'm saying, but if you're on a bike path near the road, which is where this is allowed, then yes, you'll be extremely visible and no more need to have like flashy backpacks or anything like that. Furthermore, it wasn't just impressive on the road. When I was riding through the footpaths in the evening, I did that a lot because I felt very safe and comfortable with this scooter. You were able to actually signal people which way you're gonna go and which way they should step when you're passing them. And that was actually really awesome because people were like, oh, you've got an indicator. I know how that works because I've seen cars use it. Awesome, I'll just step to the left where you pass on your left. How easy. And that made it really safe to ride. Of course, wear a helmet. Again, these things do go fast. 25 kilometers, falling off that, you could hurt yourself. Keep your noggin safe. Now, before we get into the cost, I really want to paint a picture of what this has. It has self-healing tires, which has a little glue layer inside. That means a small puncture will potentially save itself and you won't lose enough air to actually make this a dud and you can continue traveling along. Basically, you won't notice those really tiny punctures that happen when you ride over little plant needles and seeds. We have a lot of that in Western Australia, and I was very comfortable riding over that stuff and it never damaged the tires. The front brakes and the back brakes are drum brakes, which I know a lot of people aren't actually happy about. Drum brakes aren't the best for scooters. You want instant braking. But I will add to this that both those brakes are awesome. They're very good at stopping you, and I use just both at once or the back. Now, the bonus part about this is the e-brake or the electronic brake. It's actually using the motor to brake. And if you really want to brake in a pinch from a fast speed, that's the brake you should use. If you're going slow, the drum brakes will be enough, but that e-brake or the electronic brake is definitely the best thing about this scooter when going around high speeds. If you're going downhill faster than 25, you will absolutely feel the pull of this e-brake. And I have to also add to that be careful when you use it because it's got incredible stopping power. Well done, Daxys, it's pretty impressive. However, I have to add, you cannot use this when your battery is full. Big problem because it actually pretty much recharges the battery in a way. Not a lot, but enough to add a few kilometers here and there. I tried testing it out, it was negligible, but the whole point was that, well, if I am braking down a hill and using the e-brake, I don't waste battery and I can get a little bit back. That might be the difference between you walking home the last 100 meters or riding right up to your driveway. Now, it is IPX4, which is water resistant. It has enough grip on the tires to allow you to ride on wet land, and it doesn't skid too much. I have tried to skid it. It's pretty darn good. It grips really well, but as soon as the land is flooded or whatever you're riding, it's going to get stuck in things like grass or mud. So this is not necessarily off-road, but it is off-road when it's dry, and the fact that it's got such a high clearance at the bottom here really helps. I had heaps of fun riding this on dirt paths around my home and really enjoyed myself. It was very comfortable, not as hard as many other scooters are, especially on big rocks that are bouncing around. When I did go over a big rock, I didn't feel like I'm getting flung off. It seemed to me that the tires are wide enough to really just knock it to the side and continue on the path. On paper, they're expecting you to have about 70% of the battery available after 500 charging cycles. So if you're using this every day to do the full 50 kilometers or so, you're going to get about 500 days before you get down to 70%. Now, this is just an estimate, but it does mean that the battery can be something that gets used up. Like on any electric vehicle, a battery is something that over time degrades. Now, the 3 settings on the scooter don't actually really adjust any of the power. It's just about how fast you get to the maximum speed. Obviously, the highest one will get you to 25 very quickly, and it's a blast feeling the torque pull and just how far you get pulled back when you speed off. Be careful though, that throttle is very sensitive. I wish there was more of a ramp up, but when you do press your thumb down, it really goes. Of course, it has cruise control. After 8 seconds holding the throttle down, it'll go into cruise. You can turn that off with all the buttons. It has a pretty basic screen. It has no app to connect to, which actually I like. I don't like having to fiddle up with apps and trying to set it up. Like, this is an electric scooter, man. Like, it's not an iPad. It's not a Tesla. Come on, there's not much I need to do. The construction of the scooter is really solid. I'm concerned that there might be parts that would break, as is with any electrical device, but so far I've had no issues, and the 1-year warranty should cover you for any of the basics in the first year. That's the risk you take when you buy any of these electronics. It is a very solid device. It feels like you could crash it a few times and it still get up and go. The battery isn't massive, but it's very powerful and giving it an incredible torque, meaning that those 25-degree hills, you're gonna eat them up for breakfast. And I did, and I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed riding this around. It's very bouncy, it's fun to ride around, and you don't feel any of the massive bumps that you're gonna go over. The price, it is very high, 1,999 Australian dollars. The most expensive scooter I have yet to review. Does it justify the price? I don't think so. I think this is an 1,800 at most. However, the fact that it's on-road ready with the indicators, the brake lights, it does mean it shouts a premium. And I'm sure there's going to be more sales, so check out Hanmi's website for it. Thank you very much to them for sending me this scooter for review, and thank you for watching. So make sure to like this video if you did, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I'll catch you all in another video. Bye!